So I have a question, Josh. So as far as your PPC campaign, do you launch the PPC campaign before or at the same time as the listing
Yeah, it's a
and
great.
and then get the vine, or do you wait to get the reviews then launch PPC?
Yeah, great question. And so we actually do a scaled strategy. Um, the answer is kind of yes and no, or it depends. But essentially, let's say we launch and it's day one, and magically everything's in stock on day one, and we vined it all on day one. Obviously, we don't have any reviews, but let's pretend all of our 30 vines are claimed on day one. We still don't have any reviews. What we'll do is we'll be launching what we call sort of long tail campaigns at low CPCs, cost per clicks, or at low bids, because we know that we're not going to convert well, right? And we don't want to spend a lot of money on advertising and make long-term decisions on what keywords to target, what placements to target, when our listing isn't really truly fully ready. But at the same time, you can make some sales even with, 0 reviews or 1, 2, or 3 reviews, because some people just, your product just matches them so well. So that's why we start on the long tail and we start out with low bids, and then we start to scale that up as the reviews come in. So once we sort of hit 15 reviews, we'll start turning on all of our standard campaigns. And then, once you get 30, 40, 50, we're just running all of our campaigns on the product at that point. So we essentially scale in with low bids, long tails, not a lot of campaigns, not a huge investment, but some investment to start getting those initial traffic and sales. Because as you know, it's so important to take advantage of that honeymoon period.
So as far as the return on that initial launch campaign, PPC campaign, what do you typically experience?
Man, so let's say you're looking at a product. Let's jump back to your beauty products, right? Beauty products are interesting because they can have a high LTV. There's a lot of repurchases that may occur. You and I are not the only ones that know that, as much as I would love that to be the case. Our competitors know that. So what people will do is people will pay more for a lot more sales down the road, pay more to get people into the funnel, into a purchase, because they know for every purchase or for every new customer they get, that person might make 5 purchases. So their ROAS might be something really low, like 1, right? For a new customer, but they know that customer is going to buy 5 more times, which then gives them a 20% ROAS, or I'm sorry, a 5 ROAS, which is suddenly becomes very good, right? So you have that effect in the beauty category that, drives ROAS down, at least on initial new to brand buys. You also have, like we said, we're launching new. We have a no reviews, et cetera, et cetera. Let's say we're still in the beauty category. We might have somewhere of like a half ROAS. So anywhere between like a 0.5 and 1. Now let's just jump over real quick to like a hard goods category, something with, they make 1 purchase every 6 years or something like that. Our launch ROAS might be somewhere around like 1 to 2, or maybe even a high of 3, because once again, CPCs aren't being bid up because there's a high LTV. So we don't have that kind of factor driving down our ROAS. So depending on the category, but kind of 2 examples there, maybe half to 1 in a high LTV beauty category, or maybe 1 to 3 in a hard goods longer term purchase consideration category.
Yeah, because this is, I'm sure you get the question yourself. I get asked all the time, okay, how much can we generate?
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell people is, first of all, when you launch, review or no review, you have to start your PPC campaign because you need sales. You are in honeymoon period, and during that honeymoon period, you want to get the most out of it and leverage that period to get as many orders as possible, and PPC will help that. So if you don't start with PPC, you're not going to get anything from anywhere unless you have a huge following and then you just send people to your listing, which is rarely the case. So start with PPC without a doubt. And your strategy, the long tail, low bid, obviously that minimizes the exposure, but you still will have an ad spend. So I always tell people, and tell me what you think. I tell people that in the first 3 months, this is what you should prepare for. for every dollar you spend in advertising, expect $1 in revenue.
Mhm.
In month 2, for every dollar you spend in advertising, expect $2 in revenue. And then on month 3, for every dollar, expect $3 to $4 in revenue.
Mhm.
If you set yourself up this way and then adjust how much you are able to bleed during that time, then you're not going to be disappointed. And what I'm banking on is somewhere along the way, you'll also build up organic rank if your launch was handled correctly. Because I've seen over and over, within 6 weeks, you can be easily on page 1 on some of your buy keywords that were carefully selected. So do you agree with this kind of a prep plan?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to frame it. And I mean, that's similar, kind of similar numbers to what I'm saying. You know, the 1 ROAS, you spend $1, get $1, up to a
Yeah.
3 ROAS. It's very much to be expected. One thing I do something similar. I tell everybody, like, look, your new product launch is an investment. So it's essentially, hey, how much are you willing to invest for the success of this product? There's a minimum, you know, that you kind of have to invest to see a measure of success. But then it's like, well, you could, if you have $1 million, we're going to get you sales much faster. Everything goes much faster, but you have to invest $1 million. If you have $1, that might not be enough, period. But let's say your minimum's like 2,000, 3,000, whatever, 4,000 to spend on advertising, and you can get 3,000 back and be okay with that. And then spend 3,000 and get 6,000 back the next month and be okay with that. And spend 3,000 and get 9,000 back. If that's within your realm of investment possibilities, yeah, we've got something. We can run with that. We can work with that. We can build a successful long-term product from that. But yeah, you got to have the money up front for sure.
Yeah.